Broadcasting live, this is KMA Talk Radio, life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. With your hosts, Honest Abe and Adam K. the Brewmeister. Listen to the show anywhere in the free world at KMATalkRadio.com.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners out there in KMA land. Honest Abe here, broadcasting from West Palm Beach, Florida, along with my sidekick, the best we can afford, our producer, Paul DeGracco, who I believe is live from Boston today.
I'm technically outside of Boston, so I'm in Whitensville, Boston, which is, I guess, technically closer to Worcester, which I like saying. Worcester. I've been speaking in a Massachusetts accent since we drove up here. All right, let's get in the car and go to Worcester. No, you don't like that?
I don't know. Is that your thespian talents kicking in? Is that what that is?
You know, whatever you want to call it. I just like it up here. It's freezing, by the way. It's like 53 degrees.
Already?
We're
it's only September.
Yeah, it's cool. It's supposed to get back up to like 80 today, but the mornings are cool here, man. It's something else. We're not used to it. The kids are a little confused by it, to be honest.
And what are you doing up there now?
We have friends that just bought their first house up here, and very good friends, and we needed to get away, you know. Living in my mother-in-law's house and my parents' house for the last couple months has been, needless to say, a little bit difficult and stressful.
Really? I figure with all the extra hands and help, you might have enjoyed it.
I don't know how to explain, Abe. It's wonderful. It's great to have the help. It's great to have the kids with their grandparents, but you know, sometimes you need a little bit of a break. And we should have left a month ago, and we didn't. So
now when is it you're coming back now?
End of September. Because now we're waiting for my wife's sister's bridal shower to happen. So once that is done, so that we don't have to fly back up, then we're not going to come back here till the holidays.
But you know, Thanksgiving's right around the corner.
No, Thanksgiving we don't come up here. Thanksgiving we usually go up to South Carolina for Thanksgiving if we go anywhere.
Why? What's in South Carolina? That's
where her dad lives. So we usually drive to his house. It's only about a 6-hour drive. So we may go there, or we may just do Thanksgiving at home. I'm not opposed to doing it at home, you know.
So that's what happens when you keep having more kids. You have just enough of a family. You really don't need to go anywhere to have Thanksgiving.
Is that the deal? Like, do you not go away for the holidays at all?
Seldom. I mean, you know, look, I mean, we do, you know, we'll do sometimes Thanksgiving in our house and invite people over. But, you know, I mean, if you throw in one or two of Brandy's siblings, we got 10 people around the table. So, I mean, it's like, you know, it's, it's like a self party all the time. But no, we've driven and gone out of town for Thanksgiving. But for the most part, you know, we like having the holidays at home.
Well, you have a big enough family where it's a party, like you're saying, anytime.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah. So start popping out a couple more kids, and you'll be right there.
Dude, doing all this traveling with them and being in different houses and whatnot, like, it is the best form of birth control I could ever have.
You're so full of it, dude. I see all your posts on Facebook.
It's wonderful. I love my children. I think it's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's probably, like you say, like, it's probably my greatest accomplishment with all the screw-ups I've had in my life. And
you haven't accomplished anything yet. They're still toddlers.
I'm saying I've accomplished. They're human. They're alive. They're still here. They made it this far.
You got to mold them still. You got to make, you know, help them become who they're, you know, what all they can be in life.
Their mother will work on that. I'm just here to, you know, provide. What about you? What's going on down there in Florida? Every time I check the weather in our area where we live, I see that it's like 80% humidity and like 88 degrees at night.
I have no hair, so humidity doesn't really faze me. I mean, I can't. I'm become immune to really humidity. I don't know when the humidity is high or low, but crazily enough, right? Kids had their first week of school this week, virtual, right?
Wow. Oh, they're
Okay.
completely virtual? Or do they go in sometimes?
No. Well, you're obviously not watching the news, so listen to this. So they decided they were going to start school this week. Kids finished the first week of school. Completely virtual, right? Now, my wife, knowing that this was going to happen weeks before, was dedicating now to making like a house classroom for the kids. Okay.
Oh boy.
We had to go buy a new computer for one of them because they all need to be on computers at different times at the same time.
Which is something that you were kind of, right? Didn't they all just share one iPad and one computer and stuff before?
We're not really a technology house, so
Right.
they don't. We had a communal iPad and a communal computer for them when they needed it. So now each kid has their own computer, and they use Brandy's laptop. So we got 3 desktop computers and a laptop in the house now. Brandy went out and bought these bookcases for them to keep their stuff. I mean, like literally, like made a classroom at home.
Oh man.
And then they announced 2 days ago they're opening the schools back up next week.
That is awesome. Fully though, like they're going back full time.
Kids are going back to school.
Wow. Okay. That's
Now,
different than up north. They're only doing
read-
2 days a week in the school.
I read the article. None of this ever makes sense. I read the article and it said the 14th, but then somebody told me the 14th is only going to be certain kids, I think special needs kids and stuff like that, and then the 21st. The 20th. I haven't confirmed it. I just heard this yesterday, but I definitely read the article. It said that they'll be opening up the schools back on the 14th, but I think that it's going to be all student wide by the 21st. So all that prepping for like 2 weeks of virtual school.
Well, I mean, listen, I'm sure your wife had fun doing it.
No,
She didn't?
no. She was making bookshelves using drills at 2, 3 in the morning, and oh yeah, it was fun.
Why? Now I'm confused as to why they wouldn't want to do what they're doing up here, where they go in like Tuesday, Thursday, let's say, and then there's cleaning in between days and stuff like that. Like, do you think that that's stupid?
I don't know. I really don't know. What I do know is when they do it, there's going to be people who will get it in cases. Which, look, as long in my constant opinion, as long as the death rate ain't going ballistic and people are dropping dead, right, like left and right, it's okay for people to get it. That's what the human race is supposed to do, right?
We just want to keep certain people away, from it,
but
like the high risk people.
But I got a feeling that they're going to close everything back up again. And
well, they already went backwards once in Florida, which is why we didn't originally come back.
And conveniently, I think it's going to happen right before the election. Right? It's September
my
now.
My father-in-law keeps telling me that.
Look, they won't open tons of stuff. I was on the local. I don't know if you saw it. I was on the local news, CBS News.
Yeah, I saw it.
They're opening up select businesses, telling bars they can't open up. Cigar shops right now are slated to open up in December.
Oh my God!
Because we're the problem, right? Not the 100% capacity gyms, not the comedy clubs that are going to be allowed to open, not all this other crap. We're the problem, right? So, and now they're throwing every little German-infested kid out in school buses and getting them all out there. So my point is not about being safety. I mean, I believe you have to mitigate the risk. But the rationale and reasoning is very arbitrary, and they're just dictating what they want to do, how they want to do it, with really no root benefit to the cause.
Right.
And that's the problem. So I totally think that, kids going back to school will be just enough time for another major spike, because, things are settled as far as I'm concerned here in Florida. Everybody I know is going around their daily life. I don't hear any cases coming up or nothing. I mean, I don't listen to the news.
Yeah,
Right.
because if you look at the news, the cases
I
have
look at-
leveled.
Yeah, they've been lying and wrong from day one. So that's a fact. Anybody who doesn't believe that lives in a bubble. But I look at my daily life and the people around me. I look at all the people I know locally and all the people they know locally and whatever, and things have leveled off. And, every time things seem to level off, they find a way to make crap happen again. So I think throwing kids in school would be just enough time to close things down again right before November.
My father-in-law's insistent that there'll be a cure, like a complete cure, not just a vaccine on November 4th, or just before November 4th.
And what makes him feel that way? What makes him feel
He
like?
just thinks-
he means the election. He means.
Yeah.
Well, look, this is what I've said. I don't know if there'll be a cure or a vaccine or anything medical come November, but I have a feeling you'll see a lot less media coverage after November 4th. Because
I agree.
That's what's driving a lot of the problems. I mean, I've been on the phone with Florida officials who basically said over the phone, this is all a media play. It's all optics. We don't have control. We can't do that. If it was up to us, we'd open up the whole damn state already. So I think after November, you'll see a lot less media coverage.
Let me ask you a question. The vaccine comes out.
Which will satiate fear and satiate the, anxiety, and things will just go back on to normal with people getting sick and nobody knowing about it, not making the front page news every time somebody gets a cold.
Let me ask you a question. The vaccine comes out. Anybody in your family get it?
Not right away.
I think my wife's stance is she's going to wait a year, make sure nobody's ears start falling off or whatever. My wife knows a lot of people in the medical field, and a lot of them have said they won't get it right away. So
I'm not going to get it. They told pregnant women that thelidomide was fine for years, and look what happened to half of those kids.
Look, I mean, which makes, look, the vaccine is good because of all the people who believe in a vaccine and feel they're safe, they go get it. Then there's less people freaking out and worried about the thing, because the ones that won't take the vaccine are the people who really aren't worried about it.
Right, exactly. They're probably not the ones at risk anyway.
Or just not worried about it. So they're not the ones that are going to be pushing for closing or paranoia. So a vaccine, in my opinion, will still help greatly, because everyone who's really got this deep concern thinks the whole country should shut down, or will jump on the bus and take it right away. And then their fears will be alleviated.
Do you get a flu shot?
I've never had a flu shot in my life.
We got flu shots for the first time when we had the kids, because the doctors suggested that even if we don't get the flu shot, and we won't get it, even if we don't get it moving forward, that the flu shot is good when you have an infant to mitigate the risk of the infant getting the flu. We did it, but I've never gotten a flu shot my whole life. I've had the flu twice in my life. So it really wasn't I was more concerned. I'd be more concerned if I was still living in New York, commuting into Manhattan every day with getting the flu. Because that's always where I got sick, on the subway or on the train going into Manhattan. I'm convinced that is where I got sick every single year from. It was from being around that many people and in that confined space.
Listen, I don't have a thing against the flu shot. I just don't think I ever thought about getting it.
You're getting up there now. Maybe you might need it.
Yeah, maybe as I get older, my opinion will change. But I mean, I just never thought about getting it. I don't think I ever have it, although my wife swears I had it once. But
really? She's saying you do? Okay.
She said I had it once. No, not the flu shot. The flu.
Oh, had the flu. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You would know if you had the flu.
Look, I don't argue with my wife anymore. That's a losing proposition every time. So, yeah, I mean, she swears I had it once. The whole family had it once. I don't remember having it. I remember having pneumonia once in my life in my early 20s. I got hospitalized, but that was like the only time I can even remember being sick, really. Yeah.
It hits you. You know if you have it. There's not a question. If you're questioning whether or not you have the flu, you probably don't have the flu. So we have some really cool guests on today. That
First time.
I'm really
I love when we have first time guests on KMA.
So a lot of people know of these guys, but not many of our listeners, especially even the industry guys that listen to us, may even know the faces behind this company, right? I mean, this is kind of a company with one of the longest histories in this industry, right, Abe?
Huge, and honestly, they get mistaken a lot. So a lot of times when I have to have conversation, I have to clarify sometimes, who I'm talking about, right? So
Differentiation.
Yeah. So the Oliva Tobacco family, not the cigar family, not the Oliva cigar family, or as some people like to say, Olivia. I get that all the time.
Olivia, really?
Olivia Cigars. They always throw an I in there, and it's really funny. And somebody typed it once to me in a message. I said, "You mean Oliva?" He goes, "Autocorrect." I found that funny because like everybody says Olivia all the time. But they've been supplying tobacco to some of the world's most prestigious cigars for
decades.
Decades.
For a really long time.
Do you have a soundbite for your maker or no?
I don't.
You just got it.
I only have the Insane Asylum. But that's going to change, by the way. Just so all of our listeners know, our production is coming back. We're just waiting. Listen, we love Colin. I love Colin. But first he didn't need anything. Now he might need some things. He's like, I have everything ready to go. I'm ready to go this next week. That was 2 weeks ago. So he doesn't have everything he needs. He's got a home setup that he's putting together.
I don't blame anybody but you.
Okay, that's fine. So anyway, I talked to him.
I already told you 2 weeks ago, find out what he needs and just get it for him. Why are you waiting to see if he has what he needs?
I'm going to share the text.
I want to use our equipment.
I'm going to share the text messages with you.
And get Colin back on the show.
We should be ready to go next week, I think.
Any of our viewers would like to take an over and under bet on whether Paul has next week, I'm willing to cover all your bets, every single one out there.
So with that said, I want to introduce John Oliva Sr. and John Oliva Jr. from Oliva Tobacco. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you. Hi.
Now, are you guys broadcasting from your offices in Tampa?
Yes.
Nice. So guys, tell us a little bit about your family history. I mean, you guys have really a long history in the cigar industry. Tell us how it started. Get our listeners a little acquainted with your family and how you guys got to where you are today.
Well, my dad started this company back in 1934. He came over from Cuba in 1925 when he was 18. Worked for a guy named Johnson Tobacco, and then started his own company back in October of 1934, and brought my two uncles and eventually the whole family over here to get them out of Cuba. Left Cuba because there was no future for him to progress there with all the situation that was there. So we started in Ybor City and got connected with some brokerage people. Got involved in supplying tobacco strictly from Cuba, since he was familiar with all the farms. My grandfather was the superintendent in about, I would say probably around 5 or 6 farms. Each one of the kids were born on different farms there in Pinar del Rio. My dad happened, yeah. So it was depending on where the old man was. There was 11 brothers and sisters.
Now, Senior, we're talking about your father, Angel Oliva. Now, was Ybor City a cigar mecca like it is today back then, or was it already developed, or was it just starting to become it?
No, it was already developed. There were approximately just under 50 cigar factories in this city, including some in West Tampa and Ybor City and everything else. So I mean, it was a right place to be.
Now, your dad left home at a really young age, correct?
Yeah, well, he left home at 12.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, he left. There was a food shortage there. So I mean, when you're feeding 11 kids so he left home and went to work with his brother, one of his brother-in-laws, in a hardware store where he stayed for about 2 years saving his money, and then he had to give it up for a surgery for one of his older brothers. I wouldn't say he gave it up voluntarily, although I'm sure he would have, but. Then finally, he started when he got out of there. He started fooling around in the tobacco within the country. Met my grandfather, my mother's father, who who sponsored him coming over here. So he came over here when in 1925 with no job in the tobacco thing. Actually, his first job was a short order cook at a hotel in Ybor City, about a half a block from where we are, called Lastra Hotel, where the first floor was a restaurant, the second floor was a brothel, and the third floor was where you slept. So he worked that for a few years. He started selling stuff like that. He got involved in he got involved with tobacco, and that's where he found his niche.
Now,
So,
I want to.
1934.
Oh, sorry. I just want to clarify real quick. So I'm seeing some of the chatter. Okay, you guys are the Oliva Tobacco family, no relation to the Oliva Cigar Company, the cigar family,
No,
right?
no.
And there are guys right now talking about Oliva cigars. So I want all our listeners out there to know. I know Senior and Junior is the first time on our show. This is the Oliva Tobacco family out of Tampa. They've worked behind the scenes and had factories and then have dealt with tobacco with some of probably tons of brands that you guys enjoy on a regular basis. So just wanted to clear.
One of their taglines on their website, which they're redoing, is kind of like, if you've smoked a premium cigar from this industry, you've probably had our tobacco. So
Yeah.
you don't know that you're smoking our tobacco, but you are.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, because I was going to say you're not manufacturers, but you guys kind of are, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, that's new.
We'll get into that.
But I want to still talk about,
History,
and Abe, stop me if you want me to, but I want to talk about how Senior got involved with the company, because Senior, doing a lot of research on you and speaking to you the other day, you didn't want to be a part of the family business, and I guess your dad very much tried to make you a part of the business or get you into the business. Why, you were in computers at some point when you were starting to work?
Yeah, we had our own computer company. Actually, I went to Florida. I went from high school into the University of Florida, studied engineering, and started in chemical, and first semester changed over to industrial, and that back then was the computer stage of the game. So, and but I worked with him. During those years, because graduated in '66, and the Cuban situation, we started making Candela tobacco here in the States, and so I got involved with him in summers and stuff like that. And at that one point he said, if you're not interested, my brother's an architect, he was an architect, I'm an engineer. He says, if y'all aren't interested, I want to sell the business. And he staged it, and then they bought our business. A company out of Houston, Texas called Computer Complex bought us because we were the only franchise. We were the most successful franchise they had, because we had Martin Marietta, which means we had NASA as our customer. So,
wow.
They bought. Yeah.
So when you say your dad said he was going to sell the company, this was completely made up, correct? Like, he said that he needed you to help him sell the company or help him set up for sale.
Well, it wasn't completely made up. We had a deli. They even came down here to look at it. But I don't think he really wanted to do this. I think
It was a ruse.
Yeah, I think it was a ruse. Yeah, but he was very smart about it. A fourth guy with a fourth grade education, man. And I'm going to tell you what, as far as we're concerned, the son of a gun should have had a PhD in psychology. Okay. Anyway, he said, if you're not coming, we're going to sell this thing out. And so I took about a $25,000 a year pay cut, which was a lot back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did the right thing. Okay. I really did the right thing. He was right, and I don't regret that at all. I had a chance to spend the time with a guy. I got in the world that I respect more than him.
What was it like working with your dad? Because I worked with my dad for years until I finally moved to Florida.
Tough.
Yeah, it is tough, right?
Yeah, tough. Okay, it was very tough. I mean, you know, but he listened to any kind of ideas we had. He was a very progressive guy for his at his time. We got our business. I think we were probably one of the first people that got our business on computers back in 1979, where we had inventory programs and things of this nature. And he was very progressive, but he was tough. It was a matter of, you know, it wasn't a matter. Holidays meant nothing to him. It wasn't a matter of taking 2 or 3 week trips to Honduras, where we started after Cuba, and Nicaragua and Costa Rica and Panama and Ecuador. And, you know, hey, you know, that it's going to be Thanksgiving. He says, well, we'll give thanks over here, but we got to be here to see the crop and so on and so forth.
Wow.
Good regiment.
He had from what I've read and heard, he had an amazing work ethic, huh?
Yeah, tremendous work ethic. Tremendous.
I mean, he was right there with everyone moving bales from the interviews that I read with you, that he was outside doing the heavy lifting a lot of the time.
No, you read the wrong interview. He was out there ordering people, ordering us to do the heavy lifting. But
or you.
He
okay.
Was there. Yeah. He got not only me and my wife and my mother and everything else. I mean, you know, the hardest day of work of my life was about a 20-hour day that I spent fixing a shipment of tobacco that was mispacked in Honduras when we started at 8 in the morning and finished at 3 the next morning. And he had him ordering what to do, and my mom and my wife and myself, I was moving the bales, and we even brought people in from the street to help. I mean, listen, champ, I fell asleep on the way to bed, on the way to the mattress. I did that day. Hell of a guy. Yeah.
Do you think he was harder on you because you were his son? Because he expected more from you?
No, I think he was hard. No, I don't think so. I think he was the same way with just about everybody. He had a tremendous he had a tremendous he was a tremendous judge of character. So he knew, and listen, he was not unreasonable. I wouldn't say he was unreasonable. He was hard to work with, but you know, I appreciate everything I learned from him.
Push you to your full potential. It sounds like.
I learned everything to do right in business from that guy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And and also learned what not to do from one guy I worked with at one time that had a master's degree in business administration. Okay. So I said, I learned everything what right to do there in business.
So Junior, bringing you into this, were you reluctant at all to join the family business when the time came?
You know, I had always worked summers with the company. I mean, you know, I started like when I was 8 years old. We used to go up to Gadsden County, Florida every summer, because my father and my grandfather brought up a whole, if you can imagine this, he brought up a whole crew of Cubans, these Cubans that had just come out of Cuba from the revolution. So every summer we spent in Gadsden County fire curing candela. So I think when I was around 8, my father came to me and my younger brother and asked us, told us we had a choice of work in the barn or work in the field. And like an idiot, I chose the field, and my brother, being smarter than I was, chose the barn where it was cooler. My brother's also very good at convincing people of stuff. So he managed to convince my father in a day that just working in the tobacco business was not his forte, you know. But I stuck it out. I originally wanted to go into law enforcement when I graduated from college. Yeah, I got a degree in criminal psychology and was gonna, wanted to go into the federal government like the marshals or the DEA or something like that, and got married and discovered that I'd probably make a better living in the family business. But I started working with my dad and had the opportunity really to learn the business from my grandfather, because my grandfather was still alive then. And I think this business is just in your blood, because once I started, I love the tobacco business. I love the tobacco end of it. So no, I had a wonderful opportunity to work with my father, on the business side, and work with my grandfather on the tobacco side.
Well, now we want to ask you, what was it like for you working with your father?
There you go.
My dad and I get along very well because I'm a lot like my mother, so I'm very patient. And like I said, I like doing the tobacco end of this. Not to say that my father doesn't, but I think he's more in tune with the inventory and doing the business end of this thing. And I really enjoyed doing the tobacco end, No. And there's a progression in this business where I'll never get to, but you get to where you don't have to. My father, I don't mind going to Nicaragua, Ecuador. I enjoy that, and so no, I try to concentrate on the tobacco end of this thing. So
no, let me say this. He inherited that from my father. I did not. In all honesty, I did not. My father was a guy that could sit there at a sorting table for 8, 9, 10 hours and look at tobacco, and not just because it needed to be looked at, but because he just liked doing it. Okay, and I was not that way. My way was, this is what we need to have here. This is what we need to have there. Let's move to something else. And he was, to me, that I said, we got something better to do. He likes to do that, and he had the opportunity to spend with my dad, which we're very fortunate. He died almost at 90 years old.
Wow.
And he was, until before he died, he was a judge. So.
We got a real bad connection, Paul.
Yeah, I think we.
You lost me?
Yeah, we didn't hear that last part of what you were saying. It was kind of breaking up for you there.
Yeah. No, I said that basically he has inherited more of what he likes about tobacco from my dad than from me. Okay.
Okay.
He just enjoys sitting there and looking at tobacco.
Junior's more of the agriculturalist. That's what it comes down to, I guess.
Other things, and he it's worked out really well. Can you hear me? The connection's lost.
Yeah, I think we're having a bad connection from their office there.
Should we have them reconnect?
Yeah, guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys restart. Abe and I will continue here, and we'll have you join back in on the call in just a moment.
I don't know if they heard us.
I'll Skype them. I'll let them know. But so the thing to Abe, not that we have to talk specifically about what manufacturers buy from them and whatnot, though. The scale, as far as how big their company is in the big scheme of things. As a novice to this industry, what are we talking? Are they like one of the largest?
No, there's like 3, I think, major. When I say major, like world suppliers of tobacco, and they're one of them. I'm not sure where they stand. It's I'm not on the agricultural side either. So, but when we get them back on, you could ask them, and they could tell you exactly where they stand.
And I'm sure they'll tell us. I think we got them back here. Yeah, we got you now.
Back? Okay, yeah. I just called you. Sorry about that. I don't know what
we
happened.
were just saying that as far as the scale of tobacco farms and suppliers out there, where are you guys, so that our listeners have an idea of just how likely they are to have smoked your tobacco? If there's are you one of the top 3 providers out there? Are you like what? Give us an idea of just how big the company is out there in the world of tobacco.
I'd say, yeah, we're definitely one of the top 3. If you've smoked anything, just to run down a list, like Fuente, Newman, any sun-growns from Fuente, Magna Mars, Casa Cuba, With Newman, you have Brick House, you have Cuesta Rey, Central Fino, Maximus, Lito Gomez. There's a list of them. Lito uses a lot of our stuff. That Bing is a big customer of ours, as well as Pete Johnson, Robbie Levin, Robert Ashton with the Symmetries and the VSG, Nick Perdomo. I mean, just about anything. Most of your, I don't want to say all, but most bars that you see with a Ecuador Habano wrapper, which is very popular right now. Of course, Ecuador Sumatra, which is kind of with VSG back in the day, is kind of what put us out there. And any number of, so you got a lot of smaller guys, Ian Reith over at Dapper Cigars, Steve Saka, Christian Iota, General Cigar, a lot about tech stuff, just about everybody.
So more importantly, who's the toughest guy for you to deal with?
I think I know who he's going to say.
Look how they froze up. Wait, hold on.
No, the guy for us to deal with.
Yeah,
is probably AJ Fernandez.
Oh, really? Abdel. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought without a doubt they would have said Saka.
Yeah.
No, Steve. No. I think Steve's afraid of my father.
No, I don't think Steve's afraid of anybody. I don't think Steve's afraid of anybody. Okay. Well, and we got Noxa too, with Nicaragua American Cigar, which makes a bunch of cigars too. He's the one that for all these people, like Christian. He makes a lot of cigars. We think, right? What's the matter?
I think you guys might have. No. We hear you. Now we hear some kind of a fan or something.
No, that's the compressor for the casing machine downstairs.
Oh my God!
There you go. It's off now. It's off.
Abe was ready to yell at me. He's like, "What's going on? What? This is your fault."
Sorry.
Okay, so look,
we're in a building that's about 120 years old. So.
Yeah, it's all good. So look, we obviously you sell tobacco to tons of people, but I don't think people still comprehend the scale. So, I mean, the average consumer, right? So, how many pounds of tobacco? I mean, you don't have to tell them. I mean, give me some range, but I'm trying to get the consumers to realize how much. First off, how many farms do you guys have?
We have, we've got, was it 4 farms in Ecuador?
No, we got 2. We got 5.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, we got 6 farms in Ecuador.
We got about 6 farms in Ecuador.
And we've got 2 farms in Nicaragua. We got out of Honduras because of the political and the situation over there. And of course, we broker a lot of tobacco out of the Dominican, Indonesia, from all over the world. We concentrate on doing wrappers from Ecuador. That's really our primary business.
Right. So
I don't think the pound number, Abe, would make any have any meaning to you as far as just right. Because all these cigars are based on how pounds.
Right.
Yeah.
No correlation.
Yeah.
But it's over 1 million pounds of wrapper.
Oh no.
That's well over 1 million pounds of wrapper.
No, it's closer to 2 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because of the stuff. Just in Ecuador, it's over 1.5 million to 1.7 million, 1.8 million.
Yeah,
just in Ecuador.
That's just a huge number. Now, you guys mentioned Natsa, so I want to talk a little bit about that. You guys own a factory, I believe, with some friends, and you guys produce cigars. Now, when did you guys start with the factory? When did the transition come just from growing and brokering tobacco to having a factory?
Let me take that a minute. My father had a philosophy that if you were in the tobacco business, you should not be involved with a factory at all. And the reason being is that because, of course, the people that you're selling to are going to say that you're going to have preferential treatment with the factory that you're with, and so on and so forth, which, in all honesty, that's probably true from human nature. However, if you don't have any kind of ownership in a factory of some kind where you can control the stuff that you cannot sell to the people. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. where you can't control what you're selling to the public, then you're going to wind up having to sell tobacco at ridiculous prices, because what are you going to do with the stuff you can't sell? Okay, so yeah, we've had this now since we've had some involvement way before NOXA. We had some involvement, or not we, but not the company itself, and the company itself is not involved in that. Some of us in the company are involved in, just like I was involved in HOTS for Frank Yanessa, sold the Villazani company to General Cigar. So yeah, we've been in there since for a long time. I'd say since probably since before the what do you call it when the cigar industry went crazy?
The
boom. Just
before the boom, because I think Yanessa sold.
All this connections, bro.
1996. So say 1996, Paul. That since 1996.
Okay, that's when the
take
NOXA.
that.
I think we might be losing you guys again.
I don't understand this.
Is there something that's draining your bandwidth there? Is there something that you got going on?
No, man. We got 500 up and 500 down.
Oh God.
So we have a byte. Yeah. So it's not our Wi-Fi.
Listen, Senior, I'll just do what I normally do and just blame it on Paul.
That's usually what happens.
It's usually the easiest thing. I just blame it on Paul. It's Paul's fault. But in his defense, Senior, he's the best we could afford. See, I like first time guests. All my shticks are new to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when in NOXA, right, you guys make brands for a lot of major manufacturers. Can you discuss some of the brands that come out of the NOXA factory?
You take that.
Oh, I'm not sure. I can't remember now.
Yeah, well, we make a lot of them for JR Cigars.
We make a lot for JR Cigars. We make some for Cigar International.
And Cigar International.
We make some for Christian Yoda. We make some for Saga. I think Nicholas Malia we're making one for.
Yeah.
I did a lot of them.
And we make one for Excelsior Tobacco. That's the one we sent you. Okay. And that is a brand that.
I want to talk about this. You guys sent us this box. I want to show it here. All right.
Hold on. Let me get you on, Abe.
I'm not on?
There you are. You're on.
There you go. You sent us this box here. And this is the Doña Lydia, right?
Right.
Doña Lydia.
Yeah.
And tell us about this cigar, because you sent us some to smoke. I'm smoking it. Tell us what the history in the background is. Now, is this obviously this is made out of NOXA. Is this your brand?
Yes.
So is this the first brand that you guys as a family have put out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So tell us. Okay. So I'm interested now. After all these years of making brands for major players and companies, how did you guys get to the point where you decided to want to make your own brand? And what is the story behind Doña Lydia?
That cigar, Frank Yanessa used to make a cigar for us that he just called the 62. Frank had blended that cigar, and it was what my family smoked. And then, of course, when Frank sold the bins, they weren't really making 62s anymore. And then my dad came in and wanted to just do something to kind of honor my mom, kind of do something for the family, since everybody was confusing us with the other Olivas, So he took the cigar. We didn't change the wrapper. We changed what we did to the wrapper on it. We changed what we did to the binder on it. Just kind of tweaked the blend, added a little bit more Nicaraguan, backed off the Dominican a little bit, and came up with the Doña Lydia just as not a vanity project, but just something for us.
Now, is this her real image on the box?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
my
yeah,
mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
She ain't changed. Yeah.
Senior.
She ain't changed. Yeah.
Senior,
She ain't changed.
you did pretty good for yourself there, buddy.
Excellent, bro.
You
I
did
tell her,
very,
yeah.
you did
Everybody
very
tells
good.
you know what I tell her? I tell her, but she didn't do bad either. Okay. I'm telling you.
Touche. So this is I'm finding it medium. It's not too strong, but it's really flavorful, and I can't really pinpoint what I'm tasting. But what tobaccos are used in this cigar here?
We use an Ecuador Sumatra wrapper, but what we used on that cigar was what we call Seed 6, which was our original Ecuador Sumatra, which is it's a very difficult seed to grow because it over the course of time it started giving us less and less wrapper. So to pull actual wrappers out of that thing, we've got to sort just a whole hell of a lot to get to it. That Seed 6, for whatever reason's got a unique taste to it, which is, was the original Sumatra that we used to. Yeah, it's different than it's a little bit different than our regular Sumatra that we're growing now. And really the only reason we did grow it was for that cigar, because again, commercially for us, trying to get wrapper out of that thing. And when you're, in our position where we got to sell everything we grow, that seed just doesn't yield a lot of usable wrapper, but it's got a halation, which is what we wanted. And then on the binder, we used Connecticut broadleaf, but we went with a grade that was closer to wrapper. And just the fermentation process, what we tried doing is, instead of hitting that broadleaf real hard, like, you do sometimes to get that dark color, we just did it slow, because if broadleaf's got an inherently sweet taste to it, but we were trying to get some of that sweetness out of the broadleaf, and if you kill broadleaf with a real hard fermentation, our opinion is you can't get that. So we did that. The fillers come from our farm in La Jolla in Nicaragua, and some Dominican filler.
I really got to admit, there's some unique. I've cleansed my palate a couple times. There really is something distinctively different in this cigar that I don't readily recognize. Have you?
Do you like it?
I do. Paul, you're on mute.
Yeah,
Paul, you're on mute.
No.
No, Paul, our producer was trying to say something.
That distinctive thing that you noticed. Do you like it?
No, it's something I would definitely smoke. Look, at this point, you smoke so many cigars over time, you just kind of get used to. You'll taste it in different varietals, or you get a sense of this or a sense of that. But seldom do you come across something. But it does happen. We're like, wow, I just don't recognize that taste. And then that exists there.
See, what we're trying to do there more than anything else, Abe, is keep the consistency of that cigar. So, it's like anything else. If you like it, it's fine. If you change it, your history. Okay, I feel that, or we learned from Frank that what what people are looking for, everyone has different tastes. But once you find something you like, you want to consistently get that same taste, and that's what we try to focus on.
With the rarity of what
you're still on mute. Nobody can hear you.
You
Paul.
Can't hear me?
Nope.
Okay.
It's not a bad thing, actually. You can hear it that way. I just wanted you to know.
Okay.
You're talking into the camera, so if you want to stay mute the rest of the show, no one will notice. So, who's doing this distribution for you? Because now that you have a brand, obviously that's a whole new line of business, right? Making brands for people is easy. I mean, it's not. I don't mean it's easy, but you sell them the product, you don't got to worry about it ever again, right? It's gone. Yeah. Who's doing the distribution? Are you guys doing your own distribution on this?
Yeah, really, we're just going to retailers right now.
Yeah.
We've started small, and we've got a list of retailers there on the website, and it's something small. We just started with a couple of retailers, and
what's the name of the guy that does it? Pete.
And that's really how we're doing it.
You mean the fat guy? fat guy that's Pete Hernandez. Yeah, I think he reps his brand here in Florida.
Yeah,
You
Pete.
just call him the fat guy.
Well,
You
to
know,
give him
Scott-
credit, he is the
Say-
one. To give him credit, he is the one that introduced us to you guys.
Yes.
Introduced you to them.
Yeah.
So what's
Yeah.
the deal on this torpedo here that I'm smoking? Just to get a price range. Does anybody know? You guys know?
The retail price on
What is this going for a stick? Because I don't know where that. We don't currently sell it here, so I don't know what this cigar, if a consumer walked into a store, what it would roughly be, because it's a commendable cigar, honestly.
I have Coop on as well. Coop might even know. Coop, do you know?
Well, get him on. Get him on.
I'm on.
There, get him on.
He's on. Coop,
Coop,
do you
the
know?
retail? First off, Coop, have you ever had this cigar?
I have not.
Okay, we'll send you some. I'll get you
Okay.
some out. I'll get you some out to smoke. I'd be curious to see what you, how you think, what you feel about the cigar.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
Have you ever talked with the Oliva family, Coop?
No, this is like an honor to talk to these two
It
guys
is.
because
It
I mean, as far as with guys who like live and breathe tobacco like me, these guys are it. Do you mind if I ask a couple of questions here, Abe?
No, that's why we brought you on early. I figured you'd have some.
So, hey, John and John, thanks a lot. The one question I get a lot from people I talk to is, how come we don't see a lot of cigars with Ecuadorian filler? We see a lot of it. We know a lot of it's used for wrapper. We know a lot of it's used for binder. But as filler, we don't see a lot. And the tobacco has to go somewhere, right? That's not used for binder or filler.
Yeah, Ecuador doesn't really make filler, man. It's either binder or wrapper. I mean, if you have to throw tobaccos to filler in Ecuador, you can't survive. It's way too expensive to grow there.
Yeah, it doesn't give you, for whatever reason, it doesn't give you the Ecuador doesn't give you the body that you get in Nicaraguan or Honduran or Colombian or Brazilian fillers. It tends to be a lighter tobacco. So it's good as a volado, as a filler, but it's not going to give you the depth that you get with Nicaragua or Dominican or Honduran filler. And I think it's all really environment there.
For folks who may not be familiar with the Ecuadorian tobacco business, what are some things that maybe are unique for maybe folks who are familiar like with Nicaragua or the Dominican or Honduras? What's a little different about what goes on in Ecuador?
First of all, and the principal difference is that you can't grow under shade in Ecuador. So most, as they call it, sun-grown or cloud-grown or whatever nomenclature they've given to it. You don't grow. There's no under cheesecloth in Ecuador. Things are open. So it's a volcanic soil. So it's like everywhere else. Every geographical location has a unique gives tobacco a unique property. I mean, this is conjecture on my part, but I really believe this. The soil there is just like the soil in Cuba or the soil in Nicaragua is what gives tobacco its unique characteristic. So I think when you talk about Ecuador tobacco, outside of the fact that you can't under cheesecloth, you're just talking about another unique environment, different type of soil phenotype that you can grow. That gives tobacco, it gives Ecuador its unique taste.
Does that sufficiently answer your question?
Absolutely.
I mean, look, I just want to say, I mean, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Junior and Senior, but it seems like you really are the agriculturalist, right? I mean, you
Yep.
got the grain, Junior. That that's the part of the business that you probably love the most.
Yes, yeah, without a doubt. Because listen, we're like the gray man in the tobacco business. You don't ever, like you said, people confuse us with the other Oliva. Our business, you got to in our business, you take a certain satisfaction in knowing that you basically the cigars that are made with something that we produced, that we were the producer. It's like in some respects, like a vineyard that just produced grapes for a great wine. That's you take satisfaction in that you're the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah.
You guys can be honest. Does it ever irritate you that you get confused with the other Oliva family?
Listen, I'm great friends with Hibetico Oliva. Okay, they've done a fantastic job with their cigars and everything else like that. We don't have a problem with anybody in the cigar business.
Hold on. I didn't say if you had a problem. I mean, I know you don't have a problem. I'm just saying, do you ever get a little tinge when people mistake you for the cigar family side of it?
Yes, Abe. Yeah, you want me to be honest? Yeah.
That's what he was looking for.
So. I imagine it does a little bit. I imagine. Yeah. Well, because
think about it. My grandfather was one of the first guys inducted into the Cigar Aficionado Hall of Fame. Zeno Davidoff, Frankie Nessa, Stanford Newman, Carlos Fuentes Sr. I mean that was the inaugural class of the Cigar Aficionado Hall of Fame.
The old man.
It can't
think. Edgar Coleman.
Edgar Coleman Sr. Yeah.
Oh, Coleman. Yeah. I mean, look, it gets. I just imagine it gets a little further because all your major history has been wrapped up behind the scenes. So here comes this cigar manufacturing company. All of a sudden, everybody's talking about your family name. I just thought it'd be interesting. I could see how that might ting a little bit, but you guys have done obviously great work. Like you said, your family has been on the ground, the Cigar Aficionado Hall of Fame. How are you enjoying now? How long has this brand been out?
Oh, probably since 2012.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, we just got involved in that because of we haven't promoted this at all, but we make it, and the people that buy it like it. But yeah, I would say it was 2012. Yeah.
So this has been on.
Yeah, that started off as kind of a
for over 8 years, 9 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, is this coming out of your Tampa factory? You guys are distributing it out of the Tampa factory where you guys are at?
Yeah, I mean, we bring them here. We make them at Noxa, which we've always made them there. Right. And then they come over here, and then we distribute them out of here.
So I'm just gonna make the assumption, junior, senior, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, right? While you've gotten into the, brand, selling business, you guys really haven't focused too hard on that side of the business, have you?
No.
Right.
No, we haven't.
No.
That's kind of like the gravy on the mashed potatoes on the big plate of food, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah.
We ever find out what where the retail lies on the brand? Coop, you find anything?
I have not.
That's about a $6.50 cigar right there.
No.
You're holding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the whole idea behind this, Abe. Was try to make with our best tobacco, okay, that was at a price point.
If it's not 6.5, it's 7, but it's right there. I'm trying to get a hold of Joe because Joe is the one. He can tell me exactly. He's the one that manipulates the pricing. You can tell that we really concentrate more on the tobacco part.
Yeah.
Factories. Hey guys, we're on the wrong side of the business here, okay? But no, that's
No, you got generations doing that for generations now.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Coop, you said you had a couple questions. Anything else you wanted to ask?
Those were my two. The other one, I just had a little more question on the brand here. And then you kind of answered it. How long has it been around for? That was my other point on that. I mean, is this something that you're looking to promote in terms of expanding the brand, or any other blends you have maybe in the pipeline going forward?
Yes.
Yeah. We worked on we're working on one other. I don't know if it's going to be a line extension or just these are line extensions. Something with maybe broadleaf is for the wrapper, broadleaf for the wrapper. And we're just, like I said, we're just kind of playing with this right now. We've got a lot of things in the pipeline. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff, a lot of tobacco to work with. But I like being careful because, again, this is something where we want to, compete against our customers. This is something that we're just doing because being us, everybody always confuses with the Oliva Cigar Company, which was kind of the impetus for this thing, and just have something as a legacy for us that kind of showcased tobacco that we have that commercially for us isn't viable to, commercially it's difficult to sell in the respect that like the Seed 6 wrapper that we're using on this tobacco itself. I mean, commercially for us to get wrapper out of this thing and to be able to make any money on a crop like that, you have to basically have your own cigar factory.
Right.
This is just something tobacco that you could grow and I don't, as a grower, a lot of times you don't have the luxury, the manufacturer, have being able to get rid of inventory that you can't sell and make a living.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Look, we're at the top of the hour, Senior, Junior. We just got to take a quick, short break for one of our sponsors, and we'll be back shortly, literally in 1 minute. Talk more with Junior and Senior Oliva, and we got Coop to tell us what's going on too. Some news this week. So we'll be right back right after this.
Hola a todos, mi nombre es Elmer Suárez, de La Flor de Copán en Honduras.
My name is Ernesto Kranwinkel and I'm from La Romana, Dominican Republic.
Hola, mi nombre es Diana, soy de Manizales, Colombia.
Días, Freddy Molina desde Estelí, Nicaragua.
Hola amigos, saludos a todos. María Santis, orgullosa de ser puertorriqueña.
Cheers, I'm Oliver, I'm from London, England.
I love H. Upmann Añejo.
My favorite H. Upmann Dominican cigar is the H. Upmann Banker.
My favorite H. Upmann cigar is the Hermannsbach.
My favorite H. Upmann is the H. Upmann by A.J. Fernandez.
Mi cigarro favorito es H. Upmann Española.
I highly recommend you try the H. Upmann 175th anniversary, awarded number 10 cigar of 2019.
One world together with H. Upmann.
Surgeon General warning: cigars are not a safe alternative to cigarettes.
Honest Abe here, part 2 of KMA Talk Radio on this September 5th of 2020, the year of the COVID. I think that's what it's going to go down.
The year of the COVID?
The year of the COVID, right? I have my trusty sidekick, the best producer we could possibly afford, Paul DeGracco, broadcasting live from Boston, is it? Or what's the town you're in? I forget what you called it.
Whitensville.
Whitensville?
Whitensville, it's outside, it's between Boston and Worcester.
Is that Whitensville, like Whiteyville, like white?
Wow. I don't really want to go there, but
I'm surprised. No, I'm just surprised they haven't changed that town name by now.
I don't know. I came in. They checked my ID. They asked what the vowel was at the end of my name. I told them a typo. Don't worry, I'm cool. I can come in.
You did not.
I didn't realize that we had different sizes of this. I have the Corona.
Yes, I'll switch with you.
No, we smoked. Abe, I'm not joking you. My buddy and I smoked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We smoked 5 of these last night.
Yeah, this is a stellar stick.
It's really good.
We'll find it soon at a Smoke Inn near you.
And we confirmed, by the way, that your cigar is the Torpedo is $6.50 retail.
An amazing price for this cigar.
And the Corona is a $5.50 retail. What? Smoking this, I would have 100% thought that this would easily be a $9 or $10. Being up in New York with the taxes, it'd probably be like a $13 cigar. But down in Florida, definitely like a $9 retail.
And live from his boudoir, or whatever you call that room, we have William Cooper, the Cigar with Coop.
The virtual one.
The virtual one. Coop, in your Battle of the Band sampler, Am I mistaken? But did I notice that you gave it a name?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh.
That wasn't me. That was Aaron. He's calling it the flavor pack.
The flavor pack. Okay.
That's Aaron. Yeah. Mine's just the coops. Yeah.
It's really interesting because with all we've seen going on, I have a lot of new stipulations now, like how we may do this, round 2, because I think naming your own pack is a cool thing too.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting idea that Aaron did with that. I thought that was, like I said, there's things that are evolving from this that are interesting, and that is one of the things I would say I like that he did with that.
Because Kevin, I think, was calling his the Shorty for 40 from the get-go, right?
Yeah, that's true. He was doing it too. Yes.
And I just
I
thought
didn't have a name for mine. I think mine was starting to be called the Legends Pack. Was what people started referring it to.
I swear I saw somebody call it something. It might have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't officially called it the Legends Pack, but that was kind of the theme of my pack, is to have a sampler with people who have 25 years or more experience, and that was kind of what I went with that. So maybe that would be like the unofficial name for mine.
I tell you though, doing this time around, we see a lot of different facets and how to fine tune this for Battle of the Bands too.
Yeah, like anything, when you put something out there the first time, and this was a really good idea, the idea has to evolve. I mean,
right.
So
yeah,
I think everyone's learning some things from this, certainly on this. So I think I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. There's a lot of interest in this though on social media. I mean, I'm amazed.
It's all over, but it's one of those things because we're an industry, it's like a family. So this was like a cool competition, and everybody's kind of gotten involved in it. Not just you guys as the competitors, but the manufacturers, the consumers. I think it's been great.
Have you guys done an update on the standings, or did you stop doing that already at this point?
No, it's automated. It may not sway as quickly because as the total number of packs, it
goes up.
A couple sales doesn't move the ticker anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you will see probably slow, gradual movements, but we'll probably take it down like a week or 10 days before the event. I'm hoping that there'll be 2 guys within striking distance, so at least it's not an obvious winner on who's going to win.
Yeah, did you see Saka raise the stakes this week?
Yes, he threw.
If you buy Aaron's pack, get that unicorn sampler.
3 unicorns.
3 unicorns.
3 different
2 unreleased, and one is a $100 unicorn. I mean, that's great. I mean, so you're seeing the manufacturer get involved with that.
Listen, I've seen now consumers posting free stuff, lobbying for their favorite blogger to win. Somebody's out there offering free coffee. I think
there's some influencing going on behind the scenes with that, but that's not a bad thing necessarily.
No, it's not. It's not a bad thing. Though I will tell you something interesting about the Battle of the Bands, which I've noticed. It seems like a lot of the ancillary social media people have kind of rallied behind one of the competitors. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and
when I say ancillary, I mean guys not in the competition, right? I didn't mean like, ancillary in the definition.
Why do you think that?
I don't know. Maybe look, this is America, man. We always like underdog, and I think Kevin's kind of been the underdog. Came out of the gate knowing the underdog. Said in the beginning like there's no way he felt he could win this. And
he's pulling a Steve Saka. He
I agree.
Knew what he was doing. He may have had the most. Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm not exactly thinking what he's doing is in the best spirit of it, but I got to give him credit. He's come up with a well-executed plan.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't want to make this a whole Battle of the Bands show because we're going to have that on October 5th.
Right.
But I will say this. Talking to him prior, my personal texts, he really just didn't believe he could win. He was just happy to be involved. And somewhere along the way, that's why I think he worked so hard in the beginning to figure out how he could try to get out there. And then I think the snowball just ran. But, he honestly, I think he's also put like the most effort in getting it out there.
You have to give him credit on it.
Yeah, he's working
absolutely
like a full-time job, which wasn't the intention when we started this. We just thought, hey, we'd have a couple cigar media guys make this sampler, throw it out there, and see how the butterfly flew. but it became like basically a literal battle royale thing. So,
and he's gotten some pushback. He said. So if you saw his video this week, I don't know what other people have said anything.
Listen, it's not that. It's sometimes the consumers. The consumers in their excitement sometimes, because the one thing we didn't want it to become was nasty, right? I commend. Look, Coop knows I've been a supporter of the cigar media, honestly, as far back as I learned and knew about them. Going back to literally pre-2010, and I commend them on what they do. I mean, I do this one weekly show. I just show up. I mean, I pay you and some other people to get stuff ready, even though you don't do a great job of it. I literally just walk up and turn the mic on and start talking. These guys all got full-time jobs, right? Doing other stuff, and yet provide boatloads of content for cigar aficionados. I mean, Coop, I really don't know how you do it. You must have yourself cloned somewhere, because to put up as much content as you do and have a job and do this and you be traveling when pre-COVID, it's mind-boggling. So for these guys, they're in my opinion real heroes of the industry. That's kind of really why I came up with Battle of the Bands. I wanted to bring a spotlight to that. So there was a point where I think some of the consumers were it was getting a little bit nasty, and I'm glad that Kevin made that video, because this is really all about good spirit. And while we could bust balls and have fun, because I consider myself a world-class ball buster. I think sometimes we just gotta be careful it doesn't slide over that line. But I've been having a lot of fun. Some of the best memes have been put out there, and little video little meme ads and stuff like that. It's been real fun watching.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I saw that, because remember you were telling me about the Macho Man video last week, right? I hadn't seen it, and I saw it. I'm like, what's? And I guess some people got upset about it. I'm like, well, I thought it was pretty creative what he did. And he kind of took some jabs at us, but that wasn't fun. That wasn't anything I thought vindictive or nasty that he did.
I don't think it was anything about what Kevin was doing. I think a lot of the excited people
get behind. Yeah,
I think that's where a lot of the comments may have started edging towards that line of not being, just for fun.
Even if that, and I didn't see a lot of that, but I wouldn't blame it on him. Unfortunately, it's not his fault.
I don't think Kevin did anything wrong. In fact, I texted him and I told him that Macho Man video was artistic and brilliant. If this industry had an award for something like that, he should win.
Yeah, I don't know why he called me Bill. That was the only. It's Will, but I was called Bill. I
thought that was funny when he called you Bill.
I don't mind. There are people who have called me Bill, but I was like, where did this come from? Yeah, I was like, but it was, I didn't get the tiki bar snapped in half, but I didn't even think that was bad either.
No, the tiki bar snap, because Brian and Glenn's are world famous for having the tiki torches.
Yeah, but it was kind of, I thought it was cool how he did it. I think I give him the creativity and on that. It isn't, that isn't my shtick. I'm not gonna get up there and dress up like the Macho Man, but that's him, and he's got to keep it real.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to our video in about 30 days and see how all this pans out. So,
do you think there's a shot that somebody else could come in and win this thing?
Yeah. I mean, look, I just, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was looking at the ticker, because I know we got a holiday promotion on now, so everybody could get those samplers at 20% off this weekend. Cigar Obsession was gaining on him, but now I see he's gained a point. He's moved up since yesterday or this morning. So Kevin's at 37%. So it's 24 to 37% between 1 and 2. And honestly, man, it's still 30 days. So, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So it's just a matter of time. What I don't see is he's not letting up. He's being relentless. But, if you want my probability factor and how I mathematically line this up, the only problem he has is his reach is a lot smaller. And right now he's getting I believe he's getting a lot of repeat business from the same guys. And there's only so much that guys are going to be able to do that. So when you have 100,000 people, the sales will trickle in slowly over time. So I could be full of shit. I could be spot on and just trying to, I could be spot on, or I could just be dramatizing it more. But that's how I think it's going to play out. Brian Glenn's has been doing this probably one of the longest out of everybody involved. He's got huge reach, and he just puts it out there, and he has some of the largest number of views on his videos. So in time, he has that advantage because I think a lot of his sales will be new people who are finding the video for the first time or learning about it the first time, compared to a smaller group that wants a guy to win so bad and that they keep supporting him by buying a couple more samplers today, a couple more samplers next week.
Abe, why I always said I didn't think I was going to win wasn't because I don't think I could do a good sample or have good reach, but my audience is very different than the other 5. I see a lot of people in my audience as brand owners, representatives, retailers, not necessarily the kind of people who may go out and buy a sampler, all right? So I'm kind of really surprised where I am right now, just on that fact alone. And I've been blown away that people will send me a picture saying, "Hey, I bought your sampler." I mean, I'm just really touched that they did that. I mean, I'm not thanking them. I
think that's a credit to the quality of work you do. I mean, obviously, everybody's approached this in a different way. Kevin's approached it in a marketing, selling standpoint, which is fine. I didn't make the rules against that. Most of the other guys have just kind of put it out there, and maybe they'll do a video with each of the manufacturers they selected or whatnot, but it's not really a selling tactic, which wasn't really my, thought process when I came up with this, and that, it would have been attacked that way.
But it seems to be working out.
Well, listen, at the end of the day, if you're going to ask me, is people having fun with it? And I'd say, yeah. So for me, that it works out because look, I'm all about having fun and experiences.
Yeah.
If you can't have fun what you're doing, then we're just killing time.
No, exactly, and that's why I said if my sampler isn't the one that's going to suit you, there are 5 other ones that are. Everyone did a great job with it. There's no duds in these samples. I mean, even like I said, Kevin for $40 sampler, I got to take my hat off for him. That's a hell of a package he put together with those cigars.
He worked on it. At one point, he
really did. Yeah,
he really did. Redid his whole package. I mean, literally.
Coop, did you buy everyone else's sampler?
I bought a few of them. I'm probably gonna buy them all just to kind of have. I may make something for the wall with it right now. But I have 3 of them. I just kind of got to buy the other 3.
Before we get to leave a family bag, I just want to make sure. Did you get your shirt yet?
Finally, I got it. It was So here's what happened. I see Aaron on Thursday night with Saka with the shirt. I'm like, dude, what the heck's with the shirt? And then Aaron went off the air with Saka, and the mail came very late at my house, which is typical, and it came Thursday night. So,
yeah, so I'm going to put this out there. I'll probably do it on social media too. We got about, I think, 30 orders for shirts. So I'm going to give it through the end of the day Tuesday. If anybody wants to order one of those Battle of the Bands shirts, they got to be digitally made. I can't do mass runs on them. So if anybody's interested in getting a Battle of the Bands shirt with their favorite media guy, just email to info@smokeinn.com. Include your name, your phone number, your email, your shirt size, and which Cigar Media shirt guy you want. And once we get the tally in, I'm going to cut it off probably Tuesday. We'll get a quote to see how much it is. Then we'll call everybody back, and whoever still wants them, we'll make you guys shirts. But yeah, people are wanting those shirts, so it'll be interesting.
They're great shirts, by the way. They really came out nice. I was very pleased with it.
Cool. So if you joined us in hour 1, I just wanted to let you know we have probably one of the most historic tobacco families in the cigar industry, John Oliva Sr. and John Oliva Jr. of the Oliva Tobacco, and Excelsior Cigars. I guess, is that what we're calling the division? Is this Excelsior Cigars? Is that what we're calling this? Got it. Good. Welcome back, guys.
Yep.
Hey. So, in the break there, I took a chance and I called one of the retailers here, and that torpedo you were asking me about, it was $7, okay? But that's the most expensive one, and it goes all the way down to 6 on the other sizes. So they're not expensive. They're good.
I have to tell you, Senior, that's honestly an incredible price point, in my opinion, for that cigar I smoke. So I think and I hope that after this show, a lot of people are going to seek out where this cigar is at, because I definitely think it's, without a doubt, an extremely worthy smoking experience, and especially even at that price point. So, well, kudos to you guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great cigar.
Did you have any other questions before we dive in? I want to make sure I know Coop is probably the purest form of the journalist between the three of us, so I don't want you to feel like you've missed your opportunity here.
Well, let me ask another question here. What year did your family start getting into the farming business?
1935. Well, no, the family. I mean, 1934. But no, that's when my dad started the company. My dad was born on a tobacco farm in Cuba. Okay, and my grandfather was like a superintendent of about I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 major tobacco farms in Cuba. So he was working in the tobacco business really since he was about 6 years old. Okay.
Oh wow. So when the embargo happens in the early '60s, and obviously a lot of brands in the U.S. now are not getting Cuban tobacco anymore. How did you guys see the shift happen in terms of going to the non-Cuban tobaccos? What types of tobaccos were the ones that started becoming more prominent that maybe people were seeking after at that point?
My dad picked up on this thing coming way sooner than most people. So first of all, he bought a major part of the inventory of tobacco that was available when Castro took over, and he supplied that in a proportional way to all the manufacturers here in Tampa that were depending on it. A lot of people say it wasn't a smart move, but I'm proud to say that he maintained the prices before the embargo, and he maintained the prices without, he just kept them. And then he went out and started searching other places to get tobacco. That's when we started up in Honduras, and then in Nicaragua, and one of the major things at that time, especially, I don't know if you remember the Perfecto Garcia brand, but they used a lot of tobacco, a lot of Candela. They were out of Chicago and all this, and so Candela was an issue, and that's when we started doing he started farms in Honduras, then in Nicaragua, and then we made some headway with the farms here in Gadsden County, and also in the Connecticut Valley, especially a family called the Christians with about another 12 kids that we partnered with, and we had 25% of their farm. They owned 25% of what we were doing in Honduras. So we started. We did about as much as 1 million pounds of Candela tobacco here, and the farmers that were fleeing Cuba and coming here, my father got them to really do all the Candela operations for that. So, are you hearing me all right?
Yes, sir.
I'm hearing you good. Yep. Yes, sir.
So basically, we would go there and do this Candela operation 7 weeks in Gadsden County and 4 weeks in Connecticut Valley, and the charge was about 6 cents a pound to do the tobacco. Kept a lot of people getting the money to settle in over here, and we did that until the Candela market petered out. So that's does that answer your question, Coop?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another question I have. Go ahead, Abe.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I want to ask because you talked about the Cuban thing, but there's been a lot of things that affect tobacco, and I'm a science geek, so I always love the science background about it. And one of the most interesting things, and I think it was Nick Perdomo Sr. Who said it to me one time when I was down at the farms, is because when I was learning about how the soil and stuff like blue mold was handled and how it was what the amount of science and technology that goes to keeping stuff like blue mold at bay and whatever, I asked them, I said, well, that seems a lot of science and a lot of technologies involved. What did they do 100 years ago? And his answer is that the plagues evolve like the technology does. There was no blue mold 100 years ago. And on the agricultural side, Junior, with something like blue mold, what's the amount of science that you guys got to keep up with to ensure that stuff like that doesn't happen again?
Well, to be completely honest with you, eliminating blue mold is is damn near impossible. I mean, it's an airborne spore, and I think it's developed, it's mutated over the years, so it's constantly developing immunities, so really blue mold is probably the hardest thing to control in growing a crop of tobacco. You gotta be, and the problem that you have now, which is not necessarily a bad problem, is a lot of the what is it, fumigants the stuff to fight it is, we're moving more towards in our business, we're moving more towards almost organically growing tobacco, because the manufacturers are calling for that now with the regulations on pesticides and everything. It's not a bad thing. Okay, but blue mold is something that if you don't treat preemptively, you're finished. And what I mean by that is if you don't start trying to treat for it, the crop is very small. Yeah, proactively, then you're doomed. It's like I said, it's an airborne spore, and there's really nothing ever been created, even genetically, trying to do something with seeds to create something that's immune to it has been damn near impossible, So we've been fortunate in Ecuador. We don't get it for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because it's the way it travels through the Gulf Stream or what it is. I'm not that technologically, smart enough to figure that out. But blue mold is a scourge of tobacco, obviously. It's the worst thing that you can fight black shank, you can fight some of this other stuff, but blue mold is a killer, and it's got to be fought preemptively. You got to start treating the crop, when it's, small.
This started back up in basically big problem came in 1974 with a hurricane that hit Honduras, and supposedly it moved through the airstream from Texas over there, and it's been a problem, real serious problem ever. But some of the things that don't stay in the tobacco.
Yeah, the residues is what we're constantly, you're trying not in there. So
as we've got to work on this connection, I'd love to have these guys on again. We could talk for like literally another 2 hours. But you mentioned Junior organic, right? What really differentiates, because people just always claim, oh, it's all natural, so organic product, but the differentiating between organically grown tobacco and not is just the lack of use of pesticides and fumigation. We got him frozen. You're killing me, Schmalz, Paul.
Connection can't hear the question.
Wait, we got you back.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ben. Nate, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes you're hearing me, but you're frozen on our end. But if you can hear me, I'll ask it again. I said, you talked about organic tobacco, and I was just curious what exactly defines organic tobacco, because there's always this psychological image that it's all organic, it's tobacco. But is it the lack of fumigation and the lack of pesticides that make it organic?
Yeah, for the most part. That's based what it would be. I mean, you're never going to get away from it completely.
But isn't that a catch-22? Because if that's the case, then you can't use the preventative measures for blue mold. So does that concern you a little more?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they developed seeds that are more resistant to it. Also, the seeds themselves are more blue mold preventive.
Okay, so there is some strain resistant. There is some resistant strains out there.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, they're resistant, not immune. Okay?
Right. Absolutely.
Blue mold. Yeah, blue mold's a killer. I mean, blue mold's a killer.
Coop, you had a question. I kind of cut you off when I got into the blue mold. What did you want to ask?
So, in terms of broadleaf, we've been hearing a lot about broadleaf shortages from Connecticut in the past year. But I know a lot of folks have been seeking out other sources of broadleaf. So what we're starting to see more Nicaraguan broadleaf. And maybe why is it that these countries originally weren't just conducive to growing broadleaf, like Ecuador, Honduras, and Nicaragua?
One of the main reasons, Coop, is because you're talking about two different soil bases altogether. You're talking about a volcanic soil in the Central and South American area, and you're talking about a glacial soil in Connecticut and the places where it grows, and it has that particular taste to it around the Connecticut Valley and there in Massachusetts, stuff like that. So it's way more conducive to get like what do they call it, black shank on the broadleaf, to get the black shank, and it just doesn't sometimes. So in developing some of these broadleaf seeds that have been more resistant, we've had some better success on it. That's the difference, though. Basically, it's the soil.
Yeah, the soil is what gives it everything. It's like with any tobacco. I'm a firm believer in that. All the unique tastes that you taste in different tobaccos from different parts of the world, it's in the soil.
I've said that for years. It's one of the reasons why it took a while for these families, when they left Cuba, when they went to Nicaragua, Honduras, for the cigars to really flourish in their production and flavors, because it took a while for that soil composition to build and develop over the decades. But I think Nicaragua, and you guys are more the expert than me, but I kind of say it as if I'm an expert all the time. But I think Nicaragua and the Dominican and Honduras have some phenomenal soil compositions these days. They're making great cigars out of there.
It's the same with wine.
I think it's far better than it was in the 60s, you know?
Yeah, and this kind of explains. I went to an exercise where you guys go ahead.
What were you saying, Junior?
You know, soil, in my opinion, I mean, this is my opinion, soil is what, soil in all these different regions is what gives tobacco its flavor characteristics. I mean, it's in the soil. I mean, without a doubt.
But on top of just geographical location, soil can improve as it's cultivated and minerals are and over time, correct?
It can, Abe.
It's funny. I got Senior over there shaking his head, and I got Junior.
Yeah, well, you got what you're talking about is if you do the rotation, it's not just the soil, it's how you handle the soil, it's how you manage the soil, it's how you rotate from 1 year, let it rest, put cover crops on it that replenish the nutrients. Those things are all very important.
It adds up. So if you don't do that, then the soil never gets better. I mean, that's the understanding I've always learned.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but soils from these regions have endemic characteristics. Okay,
sure.
I mean, you're always going to get like Nicaraguan tobacco tastes different than Dominican tobacco. It tastes different than Honduran tobacco.
And right in Nicaragua, you're going to get the Jalapa Valley. You're going to get the Esteli area. Same thing goes in Ecuador. You got the one end of the country where we grow the candela, and it's hardly the sun ever shines. And then you got the other end of the country where we grow more of the Sumatra, and you got the Bajos, and you got all these. You have to almost treat them like as if they're the lots as like they're independent farms almost.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Every region has its own distinctive characteristics. I just always understood that when you tend to the soil better, you'll get the most out of it. You can have two farmers, same region, same soil, but one guy's tending to his soil better and will produce better stuff, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely right.
I'd like to talk about one of my earliest favorite wrappers. When I first really was getting into cigars, and when I was first getting into the cigar business, was extremely popular, because I'm always interested at the trends and how certain wrappers just blow up and then they just fade away. And I'm almost sensing a little bit of a resurgence on the retail side, I feel. But Cameroon has always been one of my favorite wrappers. I love Cameroon. Cameroon, to me, was a very tasty wrapper. And it was so popular when I first got into business. I mean, everybody was making a Cameroon version of everything. And then nobody was talking about it. Nobody was making it. Now maybe we just didn't hear about it. Maybe they just didn't advertise it. So as guys who, grow and sell tobacco, did you notice a dip in Cameroon usage?
Yes, there was a dip in Cameroon Cameroon usage, because basically Cameroon is a very hard tobacco to get out of small farmers. It was a lot more successful when it was handled by the French. Yeah, you go to Paris.
I totally feel like I'm missing out on a world of knowledge here.
I agree. We have a bad connection.
You're killing me.
Yeah. On the Cameroon. Yeah.
Well, why don't we end here, and we will.
I think you should invite them back on, Paul.
Yeah, we'll do a different day.
Yeah.
Because
guys, I don't know if you can hear me.
This is hurting me more than anything.
Yeah.
These poor guys.
We turn Wi-Fi off. Yeah. I don't understand.
Senior, I got to apologize. I'm pretty sure that somewhere in there was a phenomenal answer that none of us could hear. We're just having a major problem with the show.
Yeah, you can hear. If you can hear, it was just about the Cameroon that you said. Yeah, it is. Okay. And
Paul.
Because you can't hear.
No,
we can't hear you.
Listen, guys, I want to have.
I'm going to say, Abe.
Yeah, listen. Call me afterwards. I want to hear this answer, but I want to have you guys both back on the show when you can in the near future, because honestly, we really didn't scratch the surface. There's so much stuff I'd really like to talk to you guys about, and this it's almost painful. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm in pain because I can't hear the wealth of knowledge is probably coming out of your, on your side of the screen.
Well, we're almost out of time, and we haven't really scratched where we want to go as well.
Yeah, so why don't we get him back on, Paul, and we can test the connection, make sure it works a little bit better. And because I really would love to talk to these guys at least for another hour or two.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I might want to just disconnect.
Whatever you want.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
They're reach out to them, try to get them back on. I mean, I was just getting into good stuff. Because, I mean, do you feel that Coop, now, I don't know if it's because, look, I mean, it could be a lot of things because we're not thinking about it. Manufacturers just might have veered away from using it because it was too problematic, right? Because we all know it's, like he was starting to say, it's kind of hard, the yield is hard to grow. I know it's a fragile wrapper. I mean, some of the biggest problems we have with cigars that'll crack in our humidor is typically Cameroon. I mean, if you ding it really quick, it could crack a wrapper. But I'm starting to see a lot of people getting back to using Cameroon again. Have you noticed it, Coop?
Yeah, and I wanted to kind of really, this is a topic I did want to really touch on them with, because, a lot of it is, it's the thing to do. A lot of it is supply and demand. Wrappers, from what I understand, is very much like commodities on the stock exchange in terms of pricing of things, and those are the things I really wanted to get into with those guys to see. And there's Cameroon wrapper that's not Cameroon. I mean, and you see what Fuente's talking about right now, where there's things that are called Cameroon where they're not necessarily from Cameroon. So those are the things I wanted to really get into with that.
If you saw me just jump, I burned myself playing with a lighter.
I was wondering what was going on.
I accidentally turned on a torch in my hand. And I'm becoming bad on it. That's the second one. That was earlier this week. Getting fidgety with lighters. Shouldn't play with lighters. It's going to burn. So,
I've done it. I've done that too, yeah.
Yeah. God, I burned 2 fingertips with that one.
Right.
That one's good.
Right.
No, man. I'm really kind of now thinking in retrospect why it took us so long to have them on the show. I mean, I've known him about for years. Lou Rothman, who's a good friend of ours, who I believe is a part owner of Natsa, even works with them, owns part of the factory with them. He's known them for years and been friends. I don't know why we didn't think about bringing them on the show earlier.
Well, it takes a producer of a certain caliber to, think of these types of things.
Yeah, sure. It took Pete Hernandez telling you, sure.
Paul was all excited this week. He's going, "You're going to really be proud of who I got as a guest." And I'm like, And then he told me, I just did a wow. I'm like, yeah, it was like, I did it like, yeah, those are guys I've never thought of having on. I mean, I'm having Jeremiah on from, who does Cameron Tobacco. Jeremiah Miraflor is going to be on my show next month. But I never thought of reaching out to the Olivas. Just, it's one of those things. It was like, yeah, that's a great one. I really hope there's an opportunity to do a redo here on that, because I think we can
definitely we're definitely doing a redo.
Yeah. I mean, these are great guys too. I mean, just hearing the answers here.
Yeah, I mean, they were cool to talk to before too. Like, I spoke to them for a while before we came on the air. They were awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it comes from my time of working with my dad, but I always get sentimental when I see a father and son or daughter working together. I love that. Whether it's those, Padron family or Lido, I think it's awesome when generation stuff go like that,
Speaking of Lido, he's going to be on the show next week.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. You mean this? You actually know the guest before the show is over? Well, yeah. How did that happen? Who did the work for you?
No, I got some answers sooner than I normally do. Listen, you can make fun of me all you want, but it takes a lot to get answers.
Is it making fun of, or is it just stating the facts?
No, it's making fun of. You're a bully. You're a bully because you think it motivates people.
You just made Skip Martin orgasm in his pants.
Why did he say you were a bully?
He always calls me a bully. That's his shtick for me. I'm a big bully.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're like purposely doing it, but I think your type of motivation is to degrade somebody, to make them feel so sorry for what they're doing that you think it's going to motivate them, and it doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. It doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing.
I don't know if it's degradation or is it just stating the facts. That's
difference. That's part of it too. Like you're doing the same thing there.
The facts, it's part of
no,
it.
you're saying it's stating the facts so that it's.
Okay, so I just want to clarify this. Do I state untrue facts, or is just the fact of the situation I state?
You overemphasize things for show.
Overemphasize actual true facts. Is that the problem?
You overemphasize. Well, that doesn't work. You overemphasize things.
I love Coop. We're cracking Coop up here. Let's not. Coop, why don't you tell us what's going on this week? Any good news?
I don't know about good news, but there's some interesting news happening. And it's not really on the wrapper, binder, filler end. So multiple sources have now pretty much confirmed that Mike Giannini is out at Ventura Cigar.
Oh, wow.
There was an article in Aficionado, but I had been hearing some stuff over the past couple of months, and the people I've talked to have stood by that story, but we hadn't heard an answer. And while Ventura didn't speak to all the press, they did tell Aficionado that they are out, that he is out, and there's a restructuring of the portfolio going on within the company right now. So Ventura was operating as a standalone company under a bigger entity called Cretec, which is a bigger enterprise. They're in a lot of different spaces. They also are the same company that puts on the TPE show. I was at the TPE show this year in January, and I was in the Cretec booth. And if I tell you, Ventura had almost like a kiosk, and that was it. And right there, I saw some signs there that, when you just have a kiosk after all you put in the Ventura, something's going on there right now. So they're not operating standalone, they're restructuring, and Mike Giannini's out at Ventura right now. Well,
if I got to put my but my hypothetical 2 cents in, I have to believe that the reason of the restructure is Cretec probably didn't want a separate division. Cretec always sold cigars through the regular division.
I agree.
And I think when they hired Giannini, it was probably his platform is that we have to separate the company so it's not, and of course, anytime you tell an owner of a company that, hey, you bring bad image to the premium cigar side of it, I don't know. I mean, this is all speculation. I know it's not your territory, but that's my territory, for the show. I'll speculate.
I'm not going to disagree with you on this. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure that they weren't thrilled about that move in the beginning, because I can understand the branding image of wanting to make a premium cigar division out of Cretec. Cretec was well known and famous, really mostly for imported cigarettes and clothes, and that's kind of where they've made their mark in this industry. So I think that Giannini wanted to make some space between that, and now that he's gone, I think they're just going to fold it right back up in. Which I don't know how that'll fare, because the Archetype brand, which is the major brand that they got Psycho 7, but in Archetype, they're out in stores. So I don't know if that'll change how retailers feel, if it makes any difference at all. But I think that's why they're wrapping it up back in.
Yeah, I could tell you a few things. So from talking to retailers, and you could probably confirm or deny this, when they went standalone, a lot of these guys were used to dealing with the Phillips and King reps who are a distribution arm under.
Yeah, tell them. I mean, phone people. That's right. Dealing with Phillips and King is dealing with the girl at the other end of the phone. That's
exactly. And then that changed with this when you have these other reps coming in, and they've had relationships with the P&K reps for so long. That was one thing that happened. Why that wasn't really a good idea. As far as some of the products go, there's definitely some downscaling going on in there as well. I've heard some of the arts types have already been discontinued. They're definitely going to streamline some of those to less right now. And there were some other brands that just have gone away under there as well. Things that just haven't really pittered out for Ventura either. So, I mean, the whole Foundry acquisition, I don't know what the status of that is right now. They were just producing one line under Foundry right now, and I don't know what the plans are. I don't know what the details of that acquisition were. It was kind of a strange thing from the very beginning, I thought, to acquire that.
Once again, not fact here, but that was probably a Giannini decision to try to make that happen. He probably felt connected to it because he feels like, that was over at General, so he probably lobbied for that pretty hard.
I don't know what the terms of that transaction were never disclosed. So I don't know if Ventura got it for a fire sale. If they got it, they had to pay a king's ransom for it. It was never really clear what happened with that.
Hey, listen, maybe it's a trade. They get Foundry and they give Giannini back.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah. No. I mean, let me tell you, I like Mike. Mike was one of the first guys I started dealing with as media very early on. So I'm always grateful to him. I wish him nothing but the best. I'm sorry it didn't work out for him there.
Yeah. So anything else going on?
There was another burglary that hit South Florida. This one hit Bugatti Group headquarters, and Bugatti is an accessories company. They're located in the Sunrise area, just out of Fort Lauderdale. So they had their warehouse was hit pretty hard. And they said that there were a lot of torch lighters and over 27,000 cans of butane pods.
What?
Stolen, yeah. This was a major theft.
Those are the little cans of...
Yeah, the little can. They're the thin
that go in their lighters. The mini cans.
Oh, it's the cartridges? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're pods, yeah. They're, they had regular butane cans stolen as well, but... so that's an unfortunate thing that happened to those guys. There's a lot of these things we hear in South Florida and that have happened over the years of thefts, and whether it's warehouses or trucks getting heisted. This happens. It seems to always make a lot of news in the cigar industry for whatever reason.
Because people always think it's not a real story,
right?
But look. I mean that's the first things I heard about this. It's an insurance thing, but I just can't believe it's that easy to get away with it, especially with everybody today having surveillance and video and security. I already heard the comment like 4 times. Like, this is an insurance play. I just don't know how easy it really is these days, more so than to try to get away with an insurance fraud. So
I hear you.
But that's why it makes a lot of news, Coop, because that's what everybody else, their first thought, unfortunately, typically is.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, that's sad. Other things going on the wrapper binder filler end. The Protocol guys have a new cigar coming out at the end of the year. It's called the Protocol Cyber Crimes Unit.
Oh, I thought it was Matrix.
Is that the original name, Coop? Because weren't they calling it the Green Pea in the beginning? I thought.
I don't know if that was just a code name or whatever. So I don't know if it was the original name of it or not. It's a good question to ask them. But I know they were playing with a Green Pea at one point. I had suggested to them they do something like Treasury Man or T-Man or something like that. But they ended up doing cyber crimes because Protocol's partner, one of the Protocol partners, Kevin Titan, is in the internet security business. So he sells internet security for a living. So they kind of, they kind of switched the theme to that right now. So that's going to come out at the end of the year right now. It looks like it's going to be a classic La Zona blend, kind of. It's going to be Nicaraguan Puro with that Rosado wrapper. It's something that La Zona, I think, that's their signature style there right now. And it's going to come in a box press short Churchill, which is a 6.5 by 48 size. Again, that's kind of a La Zona size out there. So from what I'm hearing, this is going to happen like towards the very end of the year right now.
All right, well, that's cool. Anything else going on, Coop?
And then just one last thing. Aging Room Quattro Nicaragua, which was the #1 cigar of the year, they have a line extension coming out in a 6.5 by 52 Figurado, almost like a Perfecto shape that's coming out there, and that's going to hit the stores in November for Rafael Nodal.
Yeah, he was on, I think he was on our Dojo Buddies show last night talking about that.
Like I say, and I've talked to Rafael a lot. Eric did a really good job of. I never heard the whole story of Rafael leaving Cuba, and Eric probably went into the most depth of anyone.
It was on a KMA episode. We had him once talk.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so it's the second. I'll be honest, I probably missed that one,
but I'm sure Eric did a really great job as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a story,
man. It was good. Yeah.
Yeah, Eric's got a much better producer for his show.
He doesn't have one. He's the producer.
I know.
He's got fun.
Well, is Jordan the producer or just the tech guy?
He really is. Well, that's what a producer kind of is, a little bit of a tech guy, too.
Yeah.
God knows we're not making any content.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm not the best tech guy, so maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
Anything else going on, Cooper? If not, what do you got going on the site this week that our fans can look forward to?
So we, right now, that's as far as news goes, that's what's going on. Got some reviews coming out this week. I'm going to be having the Perdomo ESV Sun-Grown review coming out this week. I should also have actually, we have 3 shows this week coming up as well. We have Nick Perdomo's coming on actually on Tuesday.
Jeez.
Oh, nice.
We have on Thursday, we have the Protocol guys coming on as well. And we're doing our music show on Monday, which is we're going to be doing soundtracks and scores. So all 3 are going on.
God.
And I also mentioned a couple of other reviews. AJ Fernandez, Diaz de Gloria is coming up, and the LFD 25th anniversary.
All right, good stuff.
Coop, we got to make sure we got to get you a couple of these for you to try, because now you haven't smoked this, right?
I don't know where they had a brand. I'm going to be completely and they hadn't. They even said they hadn't marketed much. I'm like, I hadn't heard of this. That they would.
Yeah, when they told me 2012, I almost fell off my chair. I thought like they just
That's
made
why
this.
I didn't feel as bad when they said that, and they even admitted they hadn't marketed it.
But it's okay. Paul's going to get him back on. Coop, we'd love to have you on the show because I know you probably had a line of.
Yeah, I considered it for Adam today, to be honest. But yeah, there's definitely a lot I would have. We could talk about certainly to talk because there's a whole history with these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think considering all the technical problems, what we even got out of them was very good. And I know next time without the technical problems, we can even do better.
Yeah, let's get Coop some of these cigars. We'll invite him back on, and we'll continue with the.
Really, really, really great guys. Seriously, I mean, I know we talked to them today a little bit, but there's still so much more, even without the technical issues, that we can talk to them about. I mean, I did our test conversation on Tuesday with them, and probably was on the phone with Senior for about, I don't know, a half hour just chatting, and then we tested this morning too.
Did you push it out to Facebook? Because that's where you got to really test it, Paul.
Yeah, I did. I did it on Smoke Inn testing. We'll talk about it later. I mean, I think there might be another issue somewhere in the connect. I don't know. But we tested it. It was the guys they're just really cool guys. And like you said, Abe, it's kind of like meeting the guys behind the curtain, which is like,
oh yeah,
it's something else. And I don't think I've seen them anywhere else. There are obviously articles about them in Aficionado and a couple of other.
Listen, these guys have dealt with everybody. There's stories in that room, between those two guys that probably are just mind blowing.
I mean, we could even go there at some point. It might be cool to like visit
that might
them.
actually be easier.
Because there's a street also named after their father in Ybor City, you know.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is another cool thing. And I think it's right by where he originally worked, where he said he was working as a line chef. I believe it's right by there.
Why don't you work on trying to make that happen?
Yeah, we could do that.
We could go back to back. We could do the bocce ball with Melanie Cisco, and then go right to the Tampa factory.
Well, you know what? And there's a couple of other guys we'd like to visit there. Like we never had them on, but the Tabanero Cigar Factory there in Ybor City, that big store there. Those guys are such nice guys, and it's really a show that has to be done from there, in my opinion. But they're open to it. I mean, I spoke to the owner, and he's more than happy to have us when we're able to, successfully go somewhere again.
All right, cool. So let's get to the Insane Asylum before we go out and see who won the award this week.
All right, here we go with the music.
Our asylum.
Did you know I'm utterly
insane? Playing?
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Where logic and reason cease to exist.
Hold on, we're not ready for you. Go ahead.
Okay, brought to you this week by the fine folks at CLE and Asylum Cigars. This week's inductee proves that it doesn't take a genius to be a thief. 22-year-old Nicholas Mark was looking for a job recently in a Pennsylvania pizzeria. As customary, he filled out an application and spoke to the manager. But things get interesting after he filled out his application. Nicholas decided to rob the pizzeria. Yep. Before leaving, Nicholas decided to make off with a tip jar filled with $220. Who leaves $200 in tips lying out?
That is another issue. Yes.
I mean, okay. So he fled with a tip jar filled with $220, according to the police, along with his application filled out with all his correct contact information. Yep. Nick also left a bag filled with multiple items that had his name on them, and syringes and drug paraphernalia. The things that every employer wants you to see have in your bag. Yes. Congratulations, Mr. Mark. You are this week's inductee into the Cigar Insane Asylum. Thank you for everybody joining us this week. We do apologize for technical difficulties. We will have Junior and Senior Oliva back on in the very near future. Coop, thanks for sitting in, as always, and being part of the episode.
And we'll do, Coop, when we have you on, when we have them on again, we'll have you on with us for your technical questions as well, because you have a little bit more background than me, for sure, but I think you might even have some more technical background and questions for, the Cameroon question was an awesome question. So
it was
I think
a whole
lot
thing,
of
and I'm glad Abe brought it up because it was going to lead to a whole segue, So
I'm sure you had follow-ups to that, so we'll have you on, man.
You guys doing anything for Labor Day?
I'm driving back to Long Island. That's about it.
I'm going to be home.
I'm going to be grilling. I don't know if you guys saw my first infomercial. I did my first boxing on ever. I got
I saw
all this meat stuff from Feed the Party, which is actually I discovered them by a good friend of mine, Randy Bush, but I order meats from them a lot. They have the best pork chops ever. So, but I got some new stuff that I never had before, like their full brisket and this gorgeous. From what I understand, it's supposed to be the best salmon you could buy. So I think I'm going to bust out the grill tomorrow and just grill up a whole bunch of meat.
That's what I did last week. I ate the meat last week. Yeah. We're gonna do I'm gonna smoke a brisket probably in October. I have an electric grill, which is great, but if it rains, you can't really use it. So I gotta have a clear day.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to all our fans out there, have a safe weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend, and we'll catch you all next week with Lito Gomez. Keep it lit.
Keep it lit.